me see. Okay. All right, we're good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're touching this story. There's an ongoing debate that the Dr. Friday, Prime Minister Dr. Friday, is requesting 1.5 million to renovate the official Prime Minister's residence.
Too much money.
And this is based off figures provided by Braxa.
Yeah.
Right?
Too much. Yeah.
This is not his guesstimation.
It's not his guesstimation.
It's
right?
Braxa's estimation.
He's saying that it's unlivable. I agree with him.
Yeah.
Former PM says, it's livable.
I was living there.
Now, we saw it. We saw clearly there's mold in a number of the rooms. There is termites in a number of the rooms, termite trails in a number of the rooms. There is, I mean, the place is way out of date. Like bathrooms, etc., way, way, way out of date. There are like these little kind of fixes that have been done which aren't very good.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
putting a plaster over a very big soap.
Remember that thing in the garage? They try to make it like a bar or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Underneath the breakfast nook.
Yes, correct.
Tacky.
You have that.
That's what you call it.
Yeah,
it's tacky.
And then you have things like that. That breakfast nook is just like WTF, man.
Yeah.
What
You know what I mean?
what does that
Listen.
mean?
WTF.
Where the food?
Yeah, where's the food?
And if you want to know where the food comes
And then you have things like the kitchen.
I just pull up the image. You're asking where the food.
Have a look at this image of the kitchen and tell us what you think.
Look the food.
Look at that.
I mean, is that where you? Man, look, my breakfast ain't coming from there.
Listen.
Your breakfast coming from there, Ginny?
Nope.
I don't even cook for zoo. I ain't cooking for zoos and that.
And it's
Come
one to just lift
No,
up the grill and
I mean-
scrape it out.
I mean, to me, that ain't even the worst part, man. That could do with a thorough clean, right?
Yeah.
What I thought was worse in there was that there was no extractor.
That too. Yeah.
So if you have a big range, I
Yeah.
mean, look at the state of it. That's some sort of freezer with his
Do
lock
not
on it.
do not thief the meat.
It doesn't have an extractor, right? All the freezers have these locks or fridges. So I don't know if you have any images of the roof or the ceiling in there.
No, not of the roof. Of the
Right?
kitchen.
The ceiling
But
in
there's
there is black
Yeah, but
because
there's
there's
no
no
extraction.
extraction.
Yeah.
Right? It's right next to the dining area, which I don't know. There must be transfer of smells and things like that.
But from what we understood, that like when they're doing entertaining, whoever, they'll be inside. They'll be in the garage.
Yeah, we heard that because the dining area was kind of enclosed. There was
Yeah.
no windows. I think just at the end.
That's at the end is a window.
There's some French doors. Or
And if
something.
they try to open the window, they might drop off. So they used to
Yeah.
go in the garage and probably, I will guess, put fabric to block off where we're not supposed to see and
And
whatever.
that's why they have that kind of makeshift bar in there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Kinda
Yeah.
just weird.
And the piano.
Using plywood and
I don't get it. I don't
So
get it.
this next image is I showed you the ceiling of the laundry room. This is the floor of the laundry room. You can clearly see mold, mildew around. This is underneath a sink right next to the washer dryer combo, which also is very outdated.
Do you
Yeah,
have-
that washer dryer combo is outdated. But
Very
do you have the other side of this, which has the all the electricals on the floor?
Yes, I do
Let me see
actually.
it.
This
Look
is what
at
you're
that.
talking about. This is literally the room next to it. Literally, you could walk from here into the laundry
That's
room.
the floor. Huh? So
Yeah.
so imagine your washing machine for whatever reason
Floods.
spills over, or the
sudden
the
stuff,
wastewater line gets
Yeah.
broken on something. That's all your electricals right there on the ground.
Yep. And the hands you're seeing here is one of the engineers from Braxa. He was telling us like it would be really, really extremely difficult to move all of this as is because they have to. Even the paneling he was saying is
everything has to come out
outdated.
there.
The coloring code of the wires is outdated.
Red and black wire.
He says, but it has to get. I tell a man they need to push on the whole building. Like, let's be fair. 1.4, how much? 1.4 million? Might as well 1.5 just push on the whole building. Because I'm pretty sure Chris it will be Chris and Luke, it will be cheaper to start from scratch.
But the amazing thing with this is how like, I don't want to sound like
I go do it for you.
like an asshole. But
I got to
see,
say, I got to
but-
say,
how was $4.5 million spent on this place? It's hard to see it.
look,
Pitchy patchy,
Let me-
big so small
It's
plaza.
hard to imagine and that was $4.5 million 20 years ago, which is what, probably worth
6
5.5, 6
Yeah.
now.
you know, when I
With
look at
inflation.
that property there, this, and again, I will say it, this tells me more about the man. And let me explain what I mean by that.
Show the outhouse, no, not the outhouse,
The pool
area.
house.
The pool house.
Look at that. That's the pool.
Now, again, right, that doesn't do it full justice, because if that camera was to pan just to the right or down a little bit,
Down.
that
Yeah.
building you have there, there's all kind of the holes in the wall, there's holes in the ceiling of it. It's full of some sort of junk in there. But the weird thing about this is to the right of the house if you enter from the back.
Mhm.
Right? So if I'm having a function in the gardens
The yard, yeah.
or in the yard, in the backyard, right? Which obviously, you know, when we saw Cartel, that's where we saw they were,
In the back.
right? In the back, in that like lawn area.
Can't tell what's that.
If he just happens to walk over just a couple of meters to the right,
Nah, you see that?
you're gonna see, and it's like a junkyard.
Listen, the thing like a old
All on the
horse
outside of the
stable.
house is like a junkyard.
And this is where you live.
Old crates of beers and
Listen,
broken
Again.
gas tanks and
I
this
have it for
tell you have it? Oh, okay, bring it.
that. This is what he's talking about.
right.
But still, there's one even worse than that.
Yeah.
If you see to the front, the door, the entrance to that pool.
Yeah,
house
I didn't
there.
go all the way down.
My brother, it's
Yeah.
scary. I went down there and looked
I,
at it.
I might
It's
I
scary.
might have had to get a tetanus shot after.
And
It's
full of,
scary.
it's full of God knows what
Oh,
junk.
Man, it must be.
But it's right next to the house.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to imagine where that is, that would be the area basically closest to the botanical gardens.
Yes, on that side.
This is crazy.
And then you had some dog kennels which weren't in a fit state next to. That was what, the bathroom.
Yeah, this was the second bathroom. Yeah.
Listen to me. Why that thing cock up there? You believe it's to flush the toilet?
So how could the how
You know
could,
what? You might be right. You know, to push your hand
To
in,
push
to
your
pull
hand
the
in and
thing.
pull the plunger.
Pull the chain.
what
You
going
might be
on
right.
there?
I just
Look at that.
I just
But
get
that
it to the
the
Chris.
only
You might be
reason
right.
why that will be up, my brother,
It's a push
is
in your
because
hand.
your flushing mechanism is not working.
Yeah.
So you put your hand in the tank and
And
you
pull up the
physically
chain.
hold the chain and pull it up.
all right, but how we just heard, if you're just joining us, that there's a piece in Parliament where the former PM says the property was livable. So people are asking,
The property in Django was livable too.
No,
people are asking, like, so what you're seeing there is termites,
and
mold in the roof,
and water damage.
water damage. Yeah, you
And
know,
this is in the
take
Prime
your
Minister's
pick.
bedroom.
That's in his bedroom. Take your pick.
And he was saying he wasn't here when he was there.
Look, listen, let me be
This
real.
is literally you laid on your bed,
Mm.
right? Let me
No,
look.
but if you're in your bed, you ain't gonna get it because
No,
it was to the
I'm
left.
trying to get the
It's to the
visual,
left.
the visual image now. Hold on. You lay down on your bed, right, guys? And you look up in the corner there. So you
Yeah,
must
you
see
can't
that
miss it. You
water.
can't miss it. You can't miss it.
Look,
It's not for say he turned this way or he back
Right.
turned way.
fellas.
You lay down on the bed so.
Luke
And you
and
look so.
Gina.
You could say, wait, boy.
Yeah, but the house ain't.
When Beryl,
Luke,
wait, boy, watch all that water when it coming up.
Luke and
Wait.
Jenny. This reflects the person, i.e., listen to me. Look at the police stations. Look at
Man
the
say
condi-
livable, Chris.
Look at the condition of the hospital. Look at the reasons. Ask yourself now the reasons why high school still
Can't fix.
Can't fix. Thomas Sanders
Can't fix.
and many other places.
Mind you, you have the actual physical structure.
You have it there.
Going and,
But I could guarantee you one thing. God's house ain't looking like that.
oh, no.
French's house, although
How
nobody
you know?
living there, ain't
How
looking
you know
like
that?
that. Man, I could just imagine and guess. It ain't looking nothing like that. The best thing what I had working there when we got there was the gate. And the man had to spray a little WD-40 on it for the gate to swing open. But I'm saying that to say, right, this here, and nobody want to hear this.
Courthouse.
This here is a simple master style. You do not live like me. You're not supposed to live like how I live it. If this is your house,
Yeah,
but
but
you
that's
say you're living,
No. But that's how he was living.
but now he ain't living there. Look, you can't be living there. You,
He
say,
was living there.
you say you're living there. You, and
I told
you
somebody.
can't
right?
be living
I
there.
told somebody, right? I had a strong feeling. Goss finished like 4 years ago, right? And he been living out Ghost.
Brother,
What
you
he
ain't
was
living
doing,
day.
what he was doing is probably if
But we
the
used to
drive
see him
was
in the morning,
hold
Paz.
on, what telling you now? If the drive was a little too long for Ghost, they gonna run up by a little ramp. Yeah.
Brother, you ain't living day.
You'll stop it.
You ain't lying down on your wall, look, and watching termite and woodlights trailing down your wall. Rain coming down on your ceiling and you see water
Chris,
leaking down.
Chris,
You lie down on your bed and
Chris,
watching that?
hold on, Chris. You gotta go bathe, you gotta in your closet to pick up a shot and you look up at the top and say, morning.
It's the morning. You walk. The only thing what really amazed me when you walk in the PM bedroom is when the toilet light up with all them digital figures with a light turn on bright.
And it open up itself.
What a light looking for?
Yeah.
When the light turn on in that toilet,
that was bad.
So when you sit down,
Right,
you know,
but
That was probably the most modern thing in
I don't
residence.
agree with you, right? When you say he wasn't living, he was living there.
I think that was his weekend stop.
I think you come down on a weekend and look important, but it's Ghost you living
you
better.
know what? Maybe through the weekend,
Somebody
Chris.
confirm, was he living there?
Man, he was
Chris,
living.
you know what? Maybe through the week he was staying there, and then on weekends he gone Ghost.
It have a thing we used to watch on Sesame Street named Oscar the Grouch. Was living in a garbage pan.
Lord.
Every time you pass and pong it, you push out the head. My brother, this is nastiness to the highest order.
Somebody said we should call the security detail. They would know if he was living
And secondly to that, right? If you're saying to me,
But where all the money went?
this is what I'm coming to know. If you're saying to me, every year you allocate a budget, a couple million there, a couple 100,000 there, a couple, where the money go? Because it ain't go there. Where gone?
I believe he living there.
Me and believe so. I believe he just passed through to make it look like official living there.
Nah.
Well, no, somebody here confirming. They say they live Ghost.
Okay.
Adana Thomas, she says, I live Ghost. Since after elections is there he living now. So is right in that dilapidated PM residence he was living.
He was living there.
But
But we used to see the vehicles passing.
well,
by.
then, if it's so you're living there, then listen. If it's so you're living, you're nasty.
Simple.
You're nasty.
Well, say that, but he was living there.
Oh,
we used to see the entourage pass in the mornings.
Well, then you're damn nasty. You're hot and nasty. Have to. Because if you could keep a straight face in Parliament and say it is livable, and now we confirm that you was actually living there, brother, you're nasty. You could say, well, listen, men do things in house. Me, I'm not a clothes fella. Sometimes we do laundry here, and go wash and pack up in car. Me ain't the pack up kind of thing. But you know you go find wrong my house clothes. You go find that. You ain't seeing no wood lights, toilet bowl, cock up, toilet tank, cock up, place. Nah, you're mad. The house says a lot about the man. And brother, once your house look like that, my brother, this tells me why you treat people how you treat them. This tells me how you see people. This tells me how you think people should live. And this tells me why you have people living how they live for X amount of years. You're nasty. You telling me, wait, hold on. I ain't done yet. I ain't done that. No
The
warming
man
up.
say livable.
Listen to me. You close down the Montrose barracks, which is right behind your house. Because why?
Wait, that close?
Well, they say they moved them out.
I didn't know that. They moved them out?
What?
The barracks,
The
the
army
Montrose
base.
barracks.
Yeah, you know the funny story in this. We didn't go in there, but we were told that the security quarters were even worse.
Well, even worse.
I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah.
You should have told me how to go.
Yeah, they told us that. They say, boy,
Brother,
it's even worse.
you watch the dog, Kenneth dog falling off. So then if you live in day, brother, come on.
Also, right now, let's take a look at the state. There was the state dining room and the state living room, which is where the house officials. I didn't load up a picture of the dining room because it's ridiculous. But this is the state living room, right? This is one angle of the state living room. Now, I draw back to my earlier statements about we was paying his wife.
No, we don't know that for sure.
Well,
Wasn't that they were saying as the interior designer?
interior design.
Wasn't that the statement they said?
No, his wife is an interior designer. We don't know whether she was paid. For
Okay. All right. Well, I take back my
The
earlier
N- the
statements
ND
because
the-
this.
the government would have to announce that.
Because this.
My brother,
This.
if you live it, you close up your house.
This is your state living room.
You start to get claustrophobic because all the smelling is mold. All right or wrong?
Dank.
The smelling dingy.
That place supposed to
In
have
the dingy.
several extractors all over to be sucking out air and bringing in fresh air. And even if the AC ain't on, it's supposed to have
Chris,
ventilation.
Chris, The man say livable.
My brother, a pig does live in a pen and livable.
He say livable.
Nah, you're nasty.
You know what? Old people say they go in a room and the room closed. It smell moxie.
It smells all like a moxie goat in there.
He say Friday just one thing.
Yeah, you got to balloon that figure. Boy, partner, if it's there you live.
I can't see though, right? You know, I mean, Braxa themselves have some questions to answer.
Well,
Because-
remember.
No, hang on.
Go ahead.
because
Go ahead.
remember, they apparently did the original 4.5.
Right, like the early 4.5.
Mhm.
The early movie 4.5.
Now, where that 4.5 in there? And money's been spent since.
One of the structural engineers did tell me.
What?
It was the same guy who was telling us about the remodeling of the bathroom. The red guy. Can't remember his name. Sorry for calling the red guy, but big up Brax the same way.
Yeah, I know.
He was telling us that the deck upstairs, the deck, that whole deck. He said, remember, I don't know if he was there.
You gotta lick it
He said
off.
that, no, they replaced it within the last less than 10 years.
They said that like, oh, the rails.
Yeah,
The
no,
rails.
not the
no,
rails,
no,
the entire
yeah,
deck,
yeah,
the whole
right,
floor,
right.
the columns, everything from downstairs looking up on the ground out in the garden side.
Yeah, but that might.
That whole, no, just saying, give you a little something.
Oh, that's where the millions went, you said.
No, he said that was recent.
Should
So
somebody
that's with the bathroom that he said Storm had
No,
break the
but when,
toilet.
when you look at, like all jokes aside, go back 20 years,
right?
18 years, whatever it is. Are you seeing 4.5 million
No,
there?
I ain't even seen 4.
Dog, I ain't even saying 2.
Well, there you go. But question: should
So either Braxa are inflating the price, somebody's inflating it.
Nah,
There's no way Braxa spend 4.5 on
Braxa has to put in their request for whatever, and it has to get signed off by
I
somebody.
can't see it. I just cannot see it.
so we
No, man,
all
it has to get signed off by somebody.
when we come back, right? Let us ask the question because I would like to know: should somebody be held accountable for all this money that we here spend on this here on an annual basis, not on a one-off, here, on an annual?
Energy Shamal says livable but not comfortable.
Facts.
That's not even comfortable. No, none of the above.
The problem is that you're not seeing the pictures aren't doing it.
It ain't justice.
Yeah.
None of the above.
Yeah.
You're watching the mattress and them on the bed is like if it's hog roll on them. Okay, now, should somebody be held accountable for this?
Livable,
No,
Genie, livable.
Not for a prime minister.
not for anybody. Not even for a dog.
What are you
Hey,
answering?
listen.
He's saying it livable, but not for a
Not
prime
for a
minister.
prime minister.
Nah, not for
Who is
anybody.
livable for? What job?
Huh?
What
No, I ain't gonna do people that. No, look.
what
No, look,
rank
no,
is
look.
it livable
No,
for?
look, I ain't gonna do people
Oh, but
that.
you said it's
I'm
not
gonna
for
do people
PM.
that. Not for the prime minister. No.
So who is it livable for?
Anybody else want to accept it, but not for a prime minister. Come on.
So anybody else, but not
Who
not
wants
PM.
to listen to what I said?
No,
Don't
no,
mix
no.
up my words. I said anybody
That's
else who
not the
wants
question.
to
The question
accept
is-
that level of living
The question
standards.
is, you're saying
Because look, somebody just said it. Live
Chris,
Long Union and
Chris,
that Tampolin
Chris,
and live in the prime minister's residence. Which
the
one
man,
you choose?
the man saying it not
Alright.
it not livable,
You like to take
not
my words
livable
and
for a
twist them.
PM. So I want to know what rank is
That
it
would be-
livable for?
Corporal or sergeant.
Whoever wants to be comfortable in that,
That's what I got constable.
that's them.
Don't be shy now, Genie.
I ain't being shy.
You're
I
too-
don't mince my
You're too
look,
big
look,
and boasty.
Look,
You're
stop
too
acting
big
like I
and
don't
boasty.
mince my words. You're lucky
Who's
I'm
it
not
livable for?
I don't mince my words. I don't say what I said.
Listen, it stinks.
Chris, when we come back, we want to hear what rank
It should be
is it livable
a
for?
superintendent, a ASP,
Yeah.
a sergeant, a
Which
corporal.
level of public servant
Yeah.
is it livable for?
Yeah, I wouldn't even tie Zeus in.
Because Genie say you're not livable for a PM.
NASA, Brickles, and GK Parody Insurance.